Time. That sounds like
Yes.
this game is gonna take a while.
They're
Now,
gonna
go
bludgeon each other.
ahead, go ahead, get your drinks, get your popcorn, get comfortable in your chair because this one's
That's
gonna be
right.
a while. Nope, Time to Time apparently canceled the challenge. He needs a couple minutes to get
He's like,
ready.
no, I don't want to wear.
It's the fake out. It's the fake
Oh
out.
no, no, it is starting. Okay. Oh no, it's Druid. It looks like a Druid.
Wait, it's Druid versus Warrior. Okay,
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 Druid versus
all right.
Warrior. Okay.
Misinformed, but we still got it. And I like this choice better than Warrior for Tides. But if you're
hmm
Darkwonyx, it's a little bit of a nightmare. Cards like Cairn give Warrior a headache if they don't have answers to it immediately with like Gore Owl, because they have to spend a lot of removal, whether it's like a Shield Slam, maybe an Execute as well. These kinds of
Yeah,
cards.
that's very true. All right, so he does keep the slam and keep the execute. Going to take more of a, more of a defensive approach to this matchup versus going aggressively for the minions.
Yep.
I think that used
And
to be I think it used to be the popular way to approach this matchup.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
I think the more aggressive approach has been more of a recent thing.
It's the innervated Yetis, right? The Yeti
hmm
comes out,
Yep.
and then you don't have an answer, you don't have Execute, you have Shield Slam. But then the Yeti all of a sudden maybe gets like Mark of the Wild, and then it just starts bashing you more, and you can't ever
Exactly.
build up your armor.
That's right.
Those kinds of situations just made warriors cry. But Darkwonyx seems to be prepared for those kinds of things.
All right, gets the
Ooh.
acolyte out and can't quite keep her the grove it yet, but that wild
Ooh.
growth
It's
does have
tempting
potential.
to Wild Growth, but
Doesn't have
next
potential.
turn he's gonna Cairn.
Yeah,
So I think this is okay. After you Cairn, on turn 5, you can kind of assess the situation, maybe use Wild Growth then. But either way, you just kind of keep it in your back pocket. You're still going first, and that Wild Growth still can be really essential. But also don't want to give your opponent the ability to draw.
all right, Darkwonyx kind of getting those late game units like Alex Strauss and Ragnaros. Still prepared for any kind of big targets. Karen, like you said, it's going to be two big targets essentially. Not going to be the easiest thing to remove. Kind of wish Darkwonyx probably wishes he had like a Fiery War X right now. Oh, there's a.
Maybe, but at the same time, this is still really annoying to deal with.
Mhm.
Wow.
Guys,
Yeah, slam to see what you draw,
yeah,
maybe,
I
but
think so.
it doesn't feel good. That's for sure. Especially since you're going to start losing your armor at a consistent rate. And a Druid of the Claw is actually a big pickup for Tides as well as a follow-up
Mhm.
because now he has a great turn 5 to keep pressure on. And he is running combo, which is something we haven't seen Tides necessarily need to use yet as a Druid,
Oh,
but at
there's
the
the
same
shield
time it
slam.
exists.
He might have to. Oh, he doesn't have enough mana though to
No, he
really
has
remove
to
this.
Shield Slam Whirlwind if that's he wanted to kill it. And even then it spawns Bane, and that's kind of useless in that regards.
This is
Very,
rough.
very tough decision.
Yeah, this is definitely rough. Like you said, Dark Onyx is not going to have much armor for the next turns unless he draws a shield block to use that shield slam because the Druid of the Claw, I'm guessing, is going to be charged here and continually bash him in the face.
What makes it difficult is that Darkwonyx, if he executes this turn on the Cairn, he has to use like the Core Kron and maybe something like Whirlwind, unless he draws into like a Shield Slam or Shield Block, excuse me. But instead, he chooses for the passive move, and now Tides is going to take this as a sign of weakness and
Mhm.
press,
Yeah.
which is absolutely what I feel like you should follow up with. And now all of a sudden, Darkwonyx shred his armor shred, and it's going to be really difficult to do.
Yeah, he's just trying to do damage control at this point. That last turn just armoring up there. All right, let's see what he draws here. He needs. I'm not even
There's
sure
merit
which.
to playing it in taunt because your opponent can't Black Knight, he can't Gore Howl or anything, he can't even shield block, shield slam. So it's a little bit tricky. But I think if you have stuff like Savage Roar and Force of Nature in hand already,
Mhm.
there's no need to kind of like play it slow. You have the ability to potentially finish the game soon, especially with Wild Growth. You can Wild
All
Growth
right,
and get there a turn earlier.
all right. So he can trade with the Korokron, execute the Karen if he wants, just to just get this board in some kind of manageable state, so that he can draw potentially a shield block and remove later, or he can just dig this turn, which it looks like that's what he's going to be doing here with the whirlwind. And what did he get there? He got a slam. Okay.
One crisis at a time. Just deal with the threats, Chan man.
Yeah, exactly, exactly,
Unfortunately, that's what
right.
he's forced to do here.
Just gonna silence this.
I think silence. Just you don't want him to draw cards
Yeah, he's
because
pretty
clearly he doesn't have the cards to answer your threats.
right. Hmm.
And actually, I wouldn't have been opposed to him wild growthing here either. But I think maybe wild growthing next turn might have the same exact consequence because then you get to the combo and then potentially be able to end your opponent's game. In fact, I'm
Ah, that's a
actually
good
a little
point. That's
curious
actually a
why he
good
didn't
point.
wild growth.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I think I would have wild growth there also, just to get to the combo a turn earlier. Darkwonyx, he's Armor Smith. He kind of wish he might have gotten the turn where he just whirlwind there, but
Yeah, the shield slam is late because now he has no way to build his armor. That the armor smith came late as well. The core
kind
cron can pick up immediate value, but he's already used an execute. This Karen's doing so much work. It came out 3 turns ago and is already done 12 damage, as well as absorb a
of
slam.
I think you need to remove the Karen right now. If he could slam the Karen, just remove it altogether and
Oh man,
just get
really?
it out of the way. I mean, it's pretty bad value
Oh
wise,
man,
but
that is really painful.
otherwise you're staring at a possible swipe that's just gonna continually allow Karen to punch you in the face.
Yeah, I think you have a point there, Chairman. I think
Yeah, I mean it's not
if
great
not
value, but
now,
you got it. Yeah, exactly. It's
because your turns as warrior are going to start slowing down, where you're going to drop your turns. All your men are going to be dedicated to these big creatures like Sylvanas, your Rags, your Gromoshes, your Barongeddons. So if you don't spend time removing it, when are you going to get the chance to? It's a very valid question. The only thing is that I think you need to keep cards like Slam to proc like Execute and as well as to get the cycle going. But this is painful. Oh my goodness. Now that he has Innervate, he doesn't really have to worry about the wild growth anymore.
I mean he's down to 12. He's got the warrior down to 12 health in turn 6. So or turn 7 right now. So
He needs to
this
find a way to
is pretty
kill his
brutal.
Bane, kill his Bane, somehow get up to 15 life.
All right, he's been
Can he
saving
do
that
that?
slam. He's got to use it now. Just
Because playing Sylvanas spells instant death, Chan man. He's hovering over it, so he can't do
yeah,
that.
I don't even. I'm not sure how much benefit he would get from Savant's like even future turns. Honestly, because he can just he's gonna get him down to one. Worst case, I mean, just like best case for Dark One, actually, he actually attacks the Sylvanas and he gets him down to one and
Yeah.
removes it. So I think
What he might
slamming, trying to find either a shield block or another execute. If you don't get it, then just remove it. You still have Alex, you still have Alex, you still have Rag, you still have some big things in your hand
he
that
might feel obligated to use the Korkon as removal and then shield slam it with the 1 armor he gains. And I think that's exactly what he's gonna
okay.
do.
All right.
Because that's
That's
his
good too.
last resort option. But that's conveniently right within the range of an innervated combo the second time. Second time today that Dark
Oh,
Onyx has died to a premature combo. And that is so crushing if you're
oh
Dark
man.
Onyx, because Warrior is traditionally like a deck where like you use your health as leverage. You don't die by turn 7 or turn 8. That's not what happens.
No,
And to die
that,
like this twice is just devastating.
yeah, he's probably, oh man, just beating himself about that. But you can't do anything about that. Sometimes the druid's going to draw into that, and if he didn't do it there, he might have had that 22 combo at turn 10, given that he had both the Savage Roars too there. So okay, TidesofTime takes the first game here, and this is the finals of the loser brackets. Winner moves on to the grand finals and has a chance to win the WellPlayed Cup here, and go home with 1.5K. That'd be a nice weekend's work. But what is Dark Wanix going to choose here? That Warrior versus Warrior dream is gone now, man. I'm so sad.
I would have to assume he might go with his Miracle Rogue, but we don't know what exactly he can. I mean, he might go with Handlock too. Handlock can be hard for Druid to deal with, but this Druid deck isn't exactly traditional as well. He knows his opponent plays things like Ragnaros too, so which could turn tides, kill giants. He might have responses to it. It could go either way, Chairman. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, Dark Wanix had some. He had a pretty brutal game against a Druid last time he played Handlock. I wonder if that's going to actually affect his choosing here. Nope, he decides to go with it. Traditionally, a better matchup for against the Druid, but both of them are pretty good actually against Druid. So I don't think he can go too wrong with this.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad. Sometimes you just get easy wins as well.
Hmm?
Tides and well, He's gonna get a pretty easy start with the Harvest Golems and Chillwind Yetis. The onus is really on Darkwonyx. Does he pick up these important minions to drop on turn 4? And if he
Mm.
doesn't, then he's gonna be playing really passive, and his opponent might be able to just burst him down.
All right, so it doesn't pick up those units or those minions that you're talking about. It does get Shadow Flame, so if the board does get a little bit out of hand, he'll be able to at least clear it one
Sure.
time. But he wants those Twilight Drakes, and he wants
There we go.
those,
There we go.
yeah, Mountain Giants. There we go.
So Tides, he's gonna curve out
Oh,
really well,
Keeper.
especially with the Keeper of the Grove.
Nice.
Double Harvest Golem Keeper of the
Yeah.
Grove. It's gonna be a really imposing board right off the bat here for Tides of Time.
Mm-hmm. And that's the tough thing about this matchup. It's like the Twilight Drake doesn't ever feel good to play whenever you're the handlock against the Druid. Keeper of the Grove seems to always be in the Druid's hand on turn 4. I don't know what it is about that
There's
card.
always those moments, whether you're playing Druid or Shaman, where you just close your eyes and play it. What I do, I actually alt tab, mute Hearthstone, and then like go watch Amaz for a couple seconds and be happy. And then I tab back in. It's like, okay, he didn't Earthshock it. But you know, those kinds of moments, you just kind of have to
That's
take the chance because you miss this drop, you fall so far behind, and
mhm.
you also miss an opportunity to maybe just straight up win the game because if he can't answer it, then you follow up on that, control the board, heal it with Farseers or even faceless like your Mountain Giants on turn 4 and win the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so there's a Mountain Giant. It's gonna.
Yeah,
Well, he might
maybe.
want to try to absorb some of this board before he does that, and I think that's what he's choosing to do. He's gonna go ahead and coil here. Actually, he could still play it right here,
Yep.
and
He
yep,
had the
that's
option
a
of
strong play.
tapping, but reduce the damage output,
Hmm.
force your opponent to kind of respond.
All right, strong play. Even if he has to throw these guys into even if he removes the
Oh,
Mountain Giant with
wait.
it, but he's going for it.
Wait, Chairman.
Here, oh, am I
He
seeing
has
Innervate
he
combo
has
again?
Innervate combo
Oh,
again.
Darkwonyx,
Oh my
that poor
god.
guy, dude. He is just he
That is
is
too
getting
bad.
just slapped
Now
around by this combo today. This is crazy.
he picks up his second Mountain Giant, but he only has one Taunter in his hand. But he also
He's
just
not.
got indication from his opponent that he doesn't have the ability to deal with the Mountain Giant. So
Wow, that's
yeah.
so brutal. I think you, I think you throw it on the other one, and then you could soul fire some of the maybe the keeper and remove the Yeti. Let me see. Let's see what else he could do here. He
Sure.
could Shadow
I don't
Flame.
mind that.
Shadow Flame, but he's not going to remove that. He still has to hit that Yeti regardless.
Yeah, and I think you want to kind of plan out the following turns as well. So I think you'd even drop the Ancient Watcher, and by
Point.
that, if you follow up with like if they even get rid of one giant, then at least you have a second giant, and you have the ability to double taunt with a Defender of Argus. So I'd like to toss out this Ancient Watcher as well,
Yeah,
with
and they
the flexibility of using like a Farseal to heal up the following turn on turn 7.
okay.
Assuming they don't get tossed away. Actually, the Soulfire might ruin all of the plans. Oh my goodness, I just realized if he tosses away the taunt, that could be
On.
disastrous.
Oh no. Oh, okay, Leroy. Leroy's not nearly as bad. Not when you're having an opposing board like this.
All right, so Tides. Well, I guess he could take out this giant, but now he's going to deal with two big taunters in response. If he was one, he was so close to maybe being able to intervene out and ending the game with a combo.
I think he still has a chance, actually, if depending on what Darkwonyx does here. Uh,
Well, he has to taunt. Like you realize,
yeah, true.
if you haven't respected Innervate combo before, you absolutely should. Granted, it just happened to you twice in the
That's
same
true.
day.
That's true.
The alternative is if he does something like just heal up with Farseer. Use the Sunfear is actually really nice because that gives him a lot of flexibility.
Yeah, he
But
could actually taunt off of the giant too.
sure.
That's
Um,
you. That's a cute thing that a lot of people do too.
because if he heals up for 3 in any capacity, whether it's Farseer or Siphon Soul, he's actually out of range of Innervated combo. Because he'll be at 19 health, and the
Mhm.
most you can do is 18. So he might even take this turn to build up board more. Play like Farseer, Defender of Argus. He doesn't even have to. You can Shadow Flame technically if he wants to. Um, but in any respect,
I
he's
think he
out of
might.
combo range whatsoever. So this
Yeah,
ends
I
all
think.
plans to do like an innervated combo.
Yeah, I think
to
I
at
think you
least finish the
played
game.
safe. You played safe here. Darkwonyx is looking in really good shape here. As long as he doesn't get through these taunts, he'll be in. Oh my gosh, he's got a rag now too.
Hmm. Is it time to rag? Or do you combo? Ah, yeah, I guess combo this turn,
Yeah.
rag next turn.
I wish I could see Darkwonyx's face right now.
He's like,
He's
oh my
probably
god,
like,
I'm so glad I
"What?
had Tom.
Oh my God, seriously! Like, thank goodness I did it. Thank goodness I got burned in the past by this and made sure I was getting the taunts up this turn, playing it safe.
You know,
All
and
right, so we reset a little bit, and Tide still has some big bullets in his hand with the rag, but Dark Onyx, he's got Alex in his hand. He's got ability to heal too, but he can't play Alex quite yet. So this is it's gonna be a tricky turn for him. He's got an
he plays
Owl.
Shadow Bolt.
Yeah,
That's
he's got an Owl
interesting.
Shadow Bolt.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
interesting that he plays Shadow Bolt. It's a card that isn't very often seen anymore in hand lock
Yeah.
because
Right.
you want to fill it up with other things that do more on as a whole. Maybe a second Shadow Flame, second Hellfire. That's a lot. It's a little bit too many spells. But it's interesting. It's a stylistic choice. I wonder if it's to counter something directly, like a Miracle Rogue, and say the Gadget Stand's exposed, and then you
Yeah,
just
maybe.
Shadow Bolt it. I wonder if that's the case.
Yeah, sometimes you wish you had another Soulfire. So that's kind of what Shadow Bolt
Sure.
acts as there. All right, let's see how trying to decide.
Well, it's either Taunt or Shadow Bolt.
Yeah, Shadow Bolt or Taunt.
Either way, you still don't feel that comfortable leaving out the Harvest Golem just to kill a 2-1
I feel like the
easily without
taunts.
being able to respond.
Yeah, I feel like the taunt's more valuable here.
I just like having the option to taunt though. Either way, if he draws in something like Molten Giant stuff like that in the future, you have a lot more flexibility. But I think he also feels a lot more comfortable because the opponent already used one combo. So he says, well, maybe the taunt's not as valuable as it is. He's obviously probably holding a lot of cards that are situational, the remaining ones. And Tides, he ends up wrathing and see where he goes. Picks up Azure Drake, which is nice to continue the flow of cards. You can
All right,
press
now
for
the Shadow.
damage.
Actually, now the Shadow Bolt works out perfectly.
Yeah.
All
Ooh, yeah,
right,
and a
decisions
Drake.
here. He's got a
Put out
Drake.
the Drake, Shadow Bolt. You can even tap beforehand if that's what you really feel like what you want to do.
Ooh, do you want
At
to?
this stage,
Or
though,
should you start it?
how comfortable do you feel tapping Chan Man?
Well, it really depends if he wants a siphon or not to stay out of combo. But if you're gonna stay in this range of the combo, you might as well tap. There you go. And I think that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna get the
Ooh,
the Twilight up and then clear the board here.
Soulfire. Okay.
Can Tides draw the force of nature here?
Maybe. Oh my
Oh
God! You
my
gotta actually kidding me!
God!
That is ridiculous.
Darkwonyx.
Again,
Oh.
this combo. Are you watching the same games I'm watching?
Oh my God. This is
That
this
is
the Druid
ridiculous.
deck is definitely the
At one point, I
deck
was
of the
already kind
day.
of calculating like how Dark Waters can come back into this game because he already tossed away Leroy. He tossed away Leroy, and I was like, if he Alex Strazas, maybe he can do something because he does have Soulfire. And I was kind of calculating all his damage if maybe he picked up something like Power Overwhelming. And then all of a sudden, right off the top is a Force of Nature, and Tides jumps out to a 2-0 lead
Is,
with
is it is
his
it time
Druid deck.
to is it time to start saying that the Druids has an advantage in that matchup now? Because
Listen, somewhere out there,
it's
someone is starting threads already asking for unvotes. DAE Druids. LOL, GG, Rage Quit, Alt F4. That's exactly why Druids are so potent and explosive these days. Double combo. I mean,
it's
it just makes
because
the deck so consistent.
well, not just that, double combo actually makes sense being strong against the Hamlock too, because you can actually use the first one just to remove giants. Like nobody thought about that before, or nobody used it that way before. Everybody was using it to finish, and now you have the flexibility of doing that. Then all of a
Right.
sudden, those strong, crazy double molten, double mountain giant kind of boards taunted aren't as powerful as they once were. At least against that matchup. But that was last game. So moving on to game number 3 here. Tides up 2-0. Just needs one more game to move on. And Dark Line's going to have to break out his Miracle Rogue here.
Yeah, he's gonna have to break out his RDU impression in reverse sweep because he's now down to his last deck. But what deck better to do it than with Miracle Rogue? It is a little scary because there are 3 games where you might whiff and just not get Gadget's Zan, get only spells, have no ability to do anything to your opponent.
Oh, the curve's
But at
about
the
to,
same time, it's a great deck to have to try to sweep.
the curve's going to start looking really nice for Tides in a second here. He's going to have a potentially double Yeti plays here, turns 3 and 4. And
Yeah,
Darkwonyx, not really, doesn't really have many of the spells that you typically like to have to initiate combos or even to remove early game minions. Going to have to get that Earthen Ring Farseer out just to have something on the board to fight off a potential 3 or 4 drop here from Tides. And it's going to be looking at
you
the
got to do
Yeti.
something. You
Yeah.
got to do something.
Gotta do
You
something.
have minions. Do you put out the Van Cleef with the prep
Yep.
shivs? That feels weak too. Uh, all these kinds of things. You can deal with the Yeti actually with that deadly poison. I think you can also push out the Van Cleef here for
Yeah.
4/4.
The Van Cleef, you can go for the Van Cleef. He can actually go even higher if he wanted, but that's like a big gamble. And as I just said, man, the Druid always has Keeper of the Grove on turn 4 somehow. So yeah, the 4/4 Edwin would be pretty good.
Yeah. So, but on the flip side, it's like, in the big macro picture, Darkwonic still has to kind of consider a few things. Like
Uh-oh.
if he invests and make this Van Cleef huge and it just gets silenced,
I
which
think
it
it,
looks like he
it
might do
looks like
that,
he's doing it.
then
Oh
the
man.
flip side of that is that Darkwonics invested a lot of resources into doing this. Oh, he picks up
Oh
the
wait.
conceal.
He has a conceal. That's gonna
So he
make it a
gets
little
a,
smaller, but eh.
so he can play the Van Cleef, attack, conceal, and then next turn Drake and just kind of evaluate from there. Maybe he gets a backstab, and you can kind of like do a lot of things and clear the board.
Oh, he's got to
It's a
commit
tough
though.
decision.
He's got to. Oh, what is he doing?
Oh, he's gonna go for the conceal play. Okay,
All right. Okay.
but then now Tides just drops his Yeti, and then just kind of passes it back, and Darkwonyx will have to decide between either removing it, which is something he gets. Oh, he picks up an SI7 agent.
That's nice. That's very nice. It's gonna be able to remove the Yeti and then get that 6 hit on it, and get that agent on the board too, just to put some more pressure on it. Pressure on
Sure.
Tides of Time. That's a great draw.
It does kind of stink though because he wants to kind of maximize the value, so he's going to play the Drake. It accomplishes kind
Okay.
of the same thing without
Yeah,
dealing
it
with the
does.
damage.
It does. Yeah.
And next turn you
Well,
have a clean way to activate everything actually. So in the way, Dark Wands is still being able to control, and this Van Cleef is doing work.
all right. So there's the keeper, and gonna remove it instead of silencing it, which is nice. But
In a lot of ways,
as it
Tides
gets more,
had the perfect hand, Chan Man, if he had
Mhm.
Innervate. But because he doesn't, he's relegated to playing these things one at a time. And as a result, because Rogue's been able to squeeze things with preparation and finagle his way into the board, now Dark Onyx has all the initiative, especially because he has a minion that he can trade and be able to push damage back out. I
Yeah, I
think
think.
Dark Onyx is starting to turn this game.
Yeah, he's definitely starting to turn this game. I still think Tides has, a lot of the cards he somewhat needs in his hand already. So it's really the onus is on Dark Wands to continue to keep up here. Let's see what he. Oh, actually, he takes it. He really takes it with the SI Agent move here, and I guess Tides of Time is going to need a
Yeah,
swipe
just
draw here.
Argent Commander. Argent
Yeah, just an
Commander
Argent
is
Commander
okay as
too.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good too. Functions the same.
What's actually nice though is that I think as much as
Oh,
this
nice.
entire macro picture is kind of really tough, Ty's
Hmm.
like wondering, am I going to be able to fight back for the board? Miracle Rogue with 4 cards and they're using their Azure Drakes early and they don't have spell power at their disposal other than Thanos,
Hmm.
may make him feel a little bit more comfortable playing things like, if the situation calls for Druid of the Claw and Taunt Mode. Because again, their reach is a little bit harder to do AoE clears with Blade Flurry. Eviscerate is going to be harder to knock out that 5 damage instead of 4. All these kinds of things.
All right, so this is the turn I think. This might be the final turn where Tides can be very reactive to the board. Removing a minion, and like he's been doing the last couple turns, he doesn't have any more charge units. His Keeper of the Grove's not going to be able to remove the SI agent, but Dark Onyx has ran out of minions. He's run out of
Oh,
the
yeah,
ability
Shadow
to.
Step. In
He does
fact,
have Shadow Step, yeah.
Shadow Step is 12, plus the Eviscerate is 16,
16
plus the
plus
Deadly
the.
Poison is
Oh,
6.
it's really close.
So over the course of 2 turns, he has lethal, exactly. Well, even if the SI7 agent dies, I think. Oh, his opponent has to not heal up, though. So what he's going to do is going to attack here, put his opponent down to 19.
19.
And if
16,
this
17,
SI7
22.
agent,
Yeah.
even if it dies, if Hides doesn't heal, if he just rags right
Oh,
here,
Innervate. How does that help him? Innervate gives him the ability to Ancient of Lore and Earthen Ring. But that's still 22. He's still got to get rid of it.
oh
Oh, he goes
no!
for it.
This actually costs ties the game.
This costs. Oh, man.
It costs ties the game. Darkwonyx has lethal right now. And
Wow.
Tides didn't think it through. He definitely didn't consider the possibilities, but I think he might already been removed or thinking about the next game because it seemed like his hand got off to a super slow start, and Darkwonyx didn't need Gadget Stand. He had a lot of damage, and I was saying this like as much as Tides had a great hand, he just didn't have ways to get it out, and it was a little too slow.
All
Well
right, and
played.
Darkwonyx finishes and gets his own combo in this turn. He seems to have been the victim of a lot of combos today, at least. So, being able to pull it out here with his Miracle Rogue, and uh-oh, I regret my decisions. We're back.
I fully agree, Tides, and I think he realized what he could have done differently. Just like
Uh,
he said, he could have put himself out of range. He could have put 5/5, a 3/3 on board. He had he had two Savage Roars. All he had to do is draw into maybe the Force of Nature and potentially end it. He was on the mana curve, and Tides again rushing out a little bit too fast, not really evaluating what his opponent can do to him.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, he's gonna break out his Warrior now against Miracle Rogue.
Okay,
This
okay,
is
and I wonder, Chan Man, because
a
Do
gadget
you
there.
do you remember a time when Miracle Rogues actually said they struggled against Warrior back in the day?
Maybe a long time ago, but
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. But a lot of those things were kind of changed with things like
Mhm.
Assassin's Blades, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And if Warrior can deal with these threats early, like the Azure Drakes, and not even take damage and just keep racking up, Miracle Rogue does have limited burst potential. In which case, if you're not running things like Assassin's Blade, that missing 20 damage with the Deadly Poison is just so noticeable, and sometimes you just can't kill the Warrior.
yeah, sure. Yeah, the ability to continue the life gain with the armor is definitely something that continually extends the range of the finish, right, for the rogue, which can be really good. Really need the answers though. The minions are really the key, right, in this matchup for the Miracle Rogue. Being able just to just, get your opponent down into the 20 range, and then all of a sudden the Shadow Steps, Leroy's, and all that stuff is in play here. But it looks like Tides is starting to draw a lot of these spells that he needs, to remove the board. Things like Execute, things like Shield Slam, even Slam
Right.
here. So decent start for him.
Yes. And,
Decent start.
one of those secondary win conditions, like Van Cleef, might be really important. And you want to be able to kind of get that damage in. Because assuming you can just get the 18 damage out of the way, but you have things like shield block and armor up throughout the course of time that
Yeah.
allows you to just keep racking up with armor smiths, those kinds of things, you might need a second way to add damage, and Van Cleef might be one of them. So if you lose it early on with like a slam execute, then all of a sudden you're again running out of damage. You have to be mindful of those things if you're Dark Onyx.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to go for it though. All right, 6/6.
Ooh, it's so pretty just to like shield block, shield slam. It's so pretty, but I think I mean you
No, I
also
think the
have the
cool
ability just to
task.
execute. Hmm?
Oh, I think the cool task master is nice because you can get a minion on the board too to execute him.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so mana pretty.
Oh,
It's
I
like
know.
shield
Like
block,
shield block, and
shield
you get to draw
slam,
a card too.
six exactly.
Oh, he's gonna actually shield slam instead. Okay. All
They
right,
both
just playing it
accomplish the
slower.
same.
Yeah, playing a little slower.
I think what he's also using is saying is, the cool Taskmaster can also be used to remove something like a Farseer, which might come out this turn since it's like, the Van Cleef with threat, but the Farseer heals it back to 30. So maybe in that respect, he wants to use a cool Taskmaster to potentially trade.
Hmm.
And I think it just increases his options more. Slam is a little bit less versatile than the cool Taskmaster. Ooh, nice top deck.
That's a great draw. Oh, got the Ysera too. Interesting. Okay, so Darkwonyx has both of his gadget stands at this point, so he could actually just play the first one here if he wanted to. But can he do anything else with it though? He has
Yeah,
prep,
he can prep, and
conceal,
conceal.
conceal. There you go.
Yep. So why not draw first off this backstab, see what you get, even kill it off.
Yeah. His Blade Flare is just out of range of killing both.
Sap's also an important card generally against Warrior because a lot of their cards, like if they play Sylvanas and Cairn, you can just sap it immediately. So Darkwonyx picking up the answers. And, we were kind of wondering whether or not Miracle Rogue could pull through and be able
Wow. Oh,
to.
look at this.
Oh, wow. Oh, he draws a second prep,
Draws
though.
another
I was
prep,
like,
man.
I was wondering if he's offering up
He
his
was.
Gadget Sand for the RNG gods, but now he has the Gadget Sand Conceal anyways and be able to
Yeah.
kill it.
It worked out phenomenal for him, drawing both preps, getting a shiv. He drew like 6, 7 cards there, and he had no intentions of concealing that one ever. So worked out really well for him.
hmm And I like the way that Tides is
Yeah.
approaching this. He says, I
Yeah.
want to gain life and make it really difficult on you. Spend as many turns armoring up as possible and being able to respond to what his opponent's doing.
In Dark Onyx that last turn when he was cycling through all those cards, he gave Tides quite a bit of armor on that during that turn. I think it was maybe like 3 or 4 armor there.
Sure, sure.
And all right,
Oh
so here's the
man,
second
wait,
gadget stand.
wait. If Tides gets the brawl, he has the
Oh,
armor
he's
smith.
got the armor smith.
And he
Kit
has
Kat
to do
special.
it.
The Kit Kat special. Nope. Nope.
No, okay. It wasn't meant to be.
Yeah. All right, so
But
you
you
can
know
do some
what?
damage. You can push some damage here
Tides
if you want.
Tides has survived the early game
Hmm.
pretty well. He's basically taken 1 point of damage on his max total while keep armoring up at 12. Very respectable number, 41 health. Still a big, tall order for his opponent to deal with.
Agreed. Definitely agree.
All right, so if you're Darkwonyx, you've used both preparations, and you have expensive cards like Fan of Knives, which obviously don't help. I think you just got to start building the board and start working on that. It kind of stinks that you have to sacrifice your Gadget Sand to kind of take care of this Armor Smith in a way. The four hit
The
damage in
four
a sense.
damage, yeah.
But I think you just gotta get stuff like SI7 out. You gotta do stuff, otherwise it sucks because it's gonna die to the Fire War Axe anyways. But is there an alternative? Do you feel like Chanman to
But
like
to
not
getting rid
playing your
of
minions?
to get rid of the armor smith, or
No, I'm
are you talking
saying
about just playing S Agent?
yeah.
No, I think you have to play the S Agent. You can either cold blood the. You can actually get rid of the armor smith without hitting with your gadgets. And he's gonna
Oh,
cold blood the
especially
gadgets
with an
in.
Eviscerate.
Yeah. Well, actually, this rate makes it even easier. But I think that's why he poisoned too, just to potentially remove it. Well, he's got a sinister strike too.
Sure, get that damage out of the way.
Draw another card.
And now that Darkwonyx has been able to deal with the armor smiths, the life gain of Tides is going to depend a lot on his ability to armor up and get a second shield block.
Hmm.
That 8 damage is not going to go unappreciated whatsoever because that was really important for Darkwonyx to put himself back on the board. He's even out the health count, and that's extremely critical.
So does Dark Onyx run 2 cold bloods or just one? Do you know? Do you remember?
I don't remember,
Remember him not having
but
two.
that'll be really vital if he
Hmm.
if he
He
has that.
needs
If he
it.
has second conceal, that'd also be really big.
Yeah. Okay, only one cold blood, so that's definitely another good point to realize since it limits the damage that he can potentially do too.
All right,
Okay, so he's still got
Darkwonyx.
some minions. He's still got some
Yep.
Azure Drakes and heal himself up too with the Earth and Ring Farseer. I think he wants to get some minions down here.
Absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely. The
Or
Farseer
that's right.
and the Drake represent 7 damage. The opponent still has to deal with it. Ideally, he shreds his own armor to do it by using his
Hmm.
weapon. It's
Yeah.
just kind of, again, it's a little bit painful because again, the minions just die for almost no value other than battle cry. But I think if he's able to whittle his opponent down, get the shadow steps with the Leroy, he still might be able to just take the game.
So I'm thinking Tides is really nervous right now. He's thinking that he might be looking at lethal right now, given that Dark Onyx has so many cards in his hand, and could easily have Leroy and at least one Shadow Step. So he's gonna remove this board. Took a little bit of damage doing it, but stays out of range. Still stays out of range of a two
Exactly.
combo. The Cold Blood's been used already. A lot of folks only use one Cold Blood, so it's probably
The
not too
fundamentals are still
worried.
really important. Oh, a shadow step. Let's
That's
see.
that's the first step.
16 damage. He still needs more juice. So the Thalanos should be able
17.
to get them draw with the Fan of Knives, maybe even shivving the face. Well, it picks up another minion as well. And this
Well,
is
he's
getting
getting extra.
increasingly difficult for
Yeah, he's getting
Tides.
extra damage. We're right on the cusp, right on the cusp
He's almost
of
out of cards.
yeah, running out
Can't.
of damage. We're right on the cusp of Darkwonyx running out of damage against Tides.
Yeah, and if Darkwonyx has to like resort of going all in, and Tides again uses something like Alex Strasser to bounce back, there might be no way for him to win. But at the same time, he has so much damage in his hand. Can Tides survive long enough? He also
I
does
think
have a
you
defender of Argus.
gotta take that Eviscera. I think you gotta take the extra spell damage from the Boundness right now.
Exactly. Every
Yeah,
point of
put some.
damage is gonna matter.
Yeah, and it's Sinister Strike. I can't quite get it right now though. Okay, so oh man, what can Tides do here? He can remove this and then armor up.
Yep.
Yep.
Wants to avoid all damage as possible, saying, come at me, it's cool. His opponent's also going to start taking fatigue damage, which is really interesting.
Oh,
In a lot of ways, Dark Onyx is also playing with fire because some of
there's a
these
second
cards.
Shadow Step. There's a second Shadow Step.
Oh, but he also has the sap. Wait.
Yeah,
Is
he has
that?
a
I think
sap.
that's it.
So
That's it.
oh, that
He
is
has the
it. That's
exact
exactly
lethal
18.
because he
Oh,
does have the double shadow step,
Darkwonyx.
and the sap was able to pull him through. Dark Onyx has tied this series, and we kind of said that Tide jumped out there early with the Druid deck, but he's going to have
Yep.
to win it on the back of his Shaman.
And Shaman versus Miracle, man. That's the Targonix really, yeah, coming back with two of his own combos to finish games. What do you think of the Shaman matchup against Miracle Rogue?
Oh man, I Shaman is one of the hardest for me personally, just because if they're able to deal with your creatures with value and you're overloaded, I just don't know what to do with myself. But there are ways to handle it. If they only run one Blade Flurry and they have a way to use it early, you drop the Feral Spirits, you harass them, you have
Yep.
Burst like Doomhammer to finish them off. It's by no means unwinnable, but I would have to say Dark Onyx looks heavily favored right now to move on to the finals.
I'd agree. Yeah, that matchup is definitely in favor of the Rogue, and Shaman just doesn't have healing capability. So every little bit of damage, every turn that the Rogue sneaks in some damage from minions is really putting a a timer on the Shaman. Let's
Dark
see.
Onyx on the coin, he has Gadget Sand and Conceal.
Oh,
And
wow.
he's thinking about throwing
That's a
away
great start.
SI7 agent, which is also kind of surprising. I always feel like that's kind of a keep,
Yeah,
especially if
I
you're
mean,
on the
SI7's like probably especially in this matchup, you're going to be removing almost for sure removing something on the board on
yeah.
turn
So
two. Yeah.
Tides is at the mercy of what Dark Wands can do. He's just gonna kind of sit and wait, try to play as much as he can for value, maybe end the game if he can. But until then, just kind of enjoy the show.
Yeah, if he can get this Sunbound Elemental going, that could actually help him quite a bit. See if he throws that down next turn. I think a Mana Titan would probably be way too passive in this matchup.
Well, he did keep it off the top, off of his mulligan. So
Oh,
Tides
true.
must have a plan, some way, somehow. It's not normal keep that you always see. In
Well,
fact,
looks like he
I
is gonna
guess,
go. Okay.
yeah, because you have the Unbound plus Lightning Bolt the following turn, and I think it also wants to bait out
Oh,
something
true.
like
Actually,
the
that's a good point.
removal. So
The Unbound the Lightning Bolt combo, just guaranteeing that you get the buff on it is a really good point there. SI Agent. How could he combo
okay,
that well here?
well, no deadly poison. That's usually like the
Yeah,
easy way to do
doesn't
it.
doesn't line up very well here. Actually throws it out. Throws out
Aha!
there
All
naked.
right.
Okay.
If he just passes and then Tides feels really good about maybe just Lightning Bolting,
Oh,
and
this is going
then
to be a great turn
draws
for
another
Tides.
card. Okay.
This is a
All right.
great turn for Tides. He's going to be able to Lightning Bolt that SI agent, and I mean, that SI agent pretty much got no value.
It's still too early to say anything though, because as much as this is nice for Tides to start off with, look at Dark Waters. He has preparation, coin,
Oh, we've
conceal.
got a
He can actually
backstab.
play it now. He has a backstab, so you can coin out this guy Zan. Backstab. Do the same thing where you draw out removal and then play the second one with conceal.
What do you think? You play it now? I think you play it now. He has the other gadgets in right now. You do forego the coin draw, but you don't have anything to remove the board right now. I feel like you need to start digging a little bit.
Yeah, I think you have two gadget sands. You have a backstab and you have
Yeah.
to prep conceal. I think it's okay, especially since you can kill the spell power totem and you're not really afraid of maybe like the lightning bolt, the lightning storm.
Yep.
But also might be considering just letting this guy just die the same way he did in the previous game. But I think he's just gonna go with the direct conceal. He has the way to start the combos immediately with backstab, two backstabs.
Two backstabs.
That's really nice. So that way
Yeah.
he can get the draws going at the beginning of the turn, and
He's
that way
got
he
the
can start
poison too.
comboing stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, poison's going to allow him to remove that unbound unless a feral spirit's drawn here. That would be a crazy good draw for Tides. We'll see what he gets here. Oh, defender. Okay.
All right, that's
Yeah,
great too.
defender's
Just
really
again,
good.
pushing it back, forcing his opponent to spend removal on things, and this mana tide totem's already paid for itself very well. And not the best part
Think.
is
Oh my God.
Tides isn't he's not overloaded whatsoever to drop like a big minion on turn 6, which is really important for Shaman.
Okay, so I guess the question is whether he's going to have to trade that Gadgetzan into the Unbound Elemental here. He could backstab and do that. He could poison also.
Just
Yeah,
backstab for or
yeah, poison
backstab
for
and see
draw
what you get.
first.
You might get Blade Flurry
There
in
we go.
some kind, and Blade Flurry would just clean up everything.
All right, poisons first. Got it looks like an Earthen Ring.
Hmm.
Okay, now he's going to backstab.
Picks up an
Great.
Azure Drake. He's kind of whiffing on these spells like
Yeah,
Fan Knives and Prep and stuff like that to help him.
man, that Mana Tide Tome looks like it's going to survive another turn.
Maybe. It's
No,
I,
he's gonna actually kill it with the dagger, right?
yeah, I don't think so. He picks up a Blade
Oh, he got a
Flurry.
Blade Flurry.
Now he
Nice.
can attack and clear the board and keep his Gadget
Oh,
Stand alive.
that's
That is a
nice.
very big pickup for Darkwonyx. Again, the Miracle Rogue needs these kinds of AoE clears, but he did have to use it a little early before any kind of Feral Spirits came out.
Earth Shock. Let's see.
Hmm.
He could play Thalnos and Earth Shock, or just straight up do this, just with a Rock Biter. He's going to be taking more damage, and again, the Shaman doesn't have any life gain, so
Oh
you're
man.
putting yourself really in range of Leroy, and even like a single Shadow Step.
Yeah.
I mean, you're putting yourself in
What's dangerous is
crazy
that
advantage.
Darkwonyx already has what he needs to
Two
finish the
Shadow
game. He has
Steps.
Leroy, two Shadow Steps. He
This
has
is
another Gadget Sand. He even has a Cold Blood. So there's not going to be any shortage of burst damage here from the Rogue. It's going to come down to whether or not Tides can stall for as long as he can.
And it's going to be pretty tough to stall when Dark Onyx is going to be throwing out some big minions like Azure Drake, or even a Farseer is going to be problematic for him. Well, actually, the Fire Elemental can remove that. The Azure Drake will be tough for him to remove outside of just trading totems here.
Tides really wants to pick up something like Feral Spirits ASAP.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
or roll Taunt Totems, and then maybe stall until he can play Alec here. Anything that has Taunt is super valuable.
Oh, there you go.
Defender of Argus is also nice too. But is it applicable at
It's...
the moment?
Oh boy. All right, he's going to be able to remove that Azure Drake, but it's still turn 7,
Yeah.
so not quite in range of the combo. Dark One is
Um,
just trying to set up the next turn here. He got a sap, so that'll help out with any taunts that pop up here.
Precisely.
Go with the other gadgets in right now.
Let's see. On the reverse side, actually, I really like the way Tides is thinking right now. This double Flame Tongue Totem could end the game if Alec here gets to come between them, and
Oh,
he's not able to
yes.
address it.
Yeah,
So
that's
Tides
true.
is saying, I'm going to spend my previous 2 turns setting this up,
Oh
and if
my
Dark
God.
Wanix isn't careful and he kind of takes it lackadaisical, drops like a Gadget Zan, pops some spells, and just like
Oh
passes, he
my
could
gosh, you're
die.
absolutely right. This could be game for Dr. Onyx if he doesn't see it coming here. But he's got 10 damage on the board. He's definitely scared for his life at this point. I'd have to guess. But what can he do to remove the board? I mean, he could sap the Azure Drake.
Yeah, you'd
Uh,
sap, you play like Earthen Ring, you'd probably like be really defensive for a while. But at
man.
the same time, it's not clean removal. He uses Blade Flurry early. If he wants to do something like Thalanos the Phantom Knives, he's 1 damage short from being able to at least take care of these Flame Tongue Totems. He's got to decide fast though, so he's going to start off with his Earthen Ring.
All right,
He's going to
gonna
follow
heal
it up.
up.
He's going to sap probably the Drake. It is a lot of mana.
Yeah,
Does represent a lot of
that's
damage.
all right. That's good play.
He's just going to
Good
weapon up and
recognition by
pass.
Dark Onyx there. Clear out that board a little bit. So it's only 4 damage on the
Two,
board, but you're right
four,
with the Alcure
five,
comes down.
seven,
It's
14, 14, 14 plus the 8. He's at 18 damage right now.
Okay.
Tides still can do this. He's got a lot of taunts in his way. And the sap was used, which is actually really important to note.
Yeah.
But he also was aware that he is at a critical juncture where if he is unable to put up a wall effectively to stop his opponent, he can just die next turn as well. So he has to be really careful with this.
Man, what can he play with? Okay, so he can. Man, he can Thalanos, Earth Shock, and then remove with one of the totems and then taunt up. I'm trying to see if he can taunt up outside of Valkyr. Valkyr's probably going to be the best way.
Yeah,
Taunt
it's the
up.
most reliable way. You
Yeah.
do have an opportunity with. Oh, you want to attack with the totems first. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go, Tides.
There we go. All right.
So you go face both
Thank
times. It is a lot to miss 7 damage. Because if he misses the 7 damage and for some reason things reset, he might not be able to get the opportunity to burst, but he does
Oh
go for it.
wow.
Now we come to a big turn of what Darkwonyx can do. He draws a Van Cleef, which is not what he needs. He needs to kind of reset everything. This game could still go on a few turns if everything kind of mellows out for a second.
Yeah, I mean, Darkwonyx. I'm trying to think if he even has enough damage without the Leroy. I mean, if he could trade Leroy here.
Absolutely not at the moment.
Yeah, not at the moment, actually.
Let's
He
see.
hasn't used any hexes or anything.
Has he used his second Eviscerate? You know, the fact that he doesn't have
Uh,
preparation makes it a little bit trickier too, because his mana management is so precise. He's at 8 mana exactly.
Yeah.
And that is normally what you need if this taunt wasn't existing. And you know, if he can't even kill off these flame tongues, the the fact that the
Yeah, they'll
Argent
do 4
Commander
damage.
was
They'll
a
still put him.
summon,
Yeah, they'll still put him in
yeah.
range. I think. I believe. All
If
right. So
say he
he's gonna
kills
go
this
with
Alakir, the 4 damage gets in, he drops the Argent Commander, and that's game.
yeah, it's still game regardless. So
Dark
even if he
Wands is going to
draws-
go for it. The Fan of Knives. This is a big draw.
Okay, he gets
a
a
deadly poison.
deadly poison.
That does not help here.
That's gonna be
Oh
game.
my God!
That's gonna
Is
be
that
game.
it? Is that
Yeah.
it? Is Darkwonyx gonna fall short at the finish line? He had the damage in hand.
Oh wow.
Oh my
What a
goodness!
great
That is
Alkir, man. That
crushing.
Alkir was
Oh, the Wind Lord is able to carry Ties all the way home as he's gonna assist with the Cold Blood. I mean, you might as well Cold Blood Alakir and let yourself kind of finish the job. But Tides of Time with his Shaman deck is gonna be able to advance. It looked tight for a second, but you know, having Alakir from the very beginning was really valuable.
Darkwonyx so close to coming back from 2-0 and really getting that combo out 3 times in a row, but comes a little bit short. Tides with a timely taunt there with the Alkir, and he's going to move on to the grand finals against RDU. Congratulations to Tides. Darkwonyx, great run. And
Excellent
man,
games by Darkwonyx
yeah,
overall.
a lot of exciting
Excellent
games today.
games.
So many exciting games today. All of them coming down to some crazy combo, whatever class you're playing, Druid or Rogue, or even Handlock at times, right? So continues that streak
You
continues,
know,
and we'll see if we
if
can see
this
some more in the finals.
if the series ended up going like a best of 7 Chan, man,
Yeah.
this could have flopped either way, both times. Darkwonyx lost 2-3,
Yeah.
both to RDU and to Tides of Time. So hard to say whether or not these one player is definitively better than the other. Excellent series, excellent day for Darkwonyx. He should be proud of a top 3 finish, and unfortunately just did not find the way to get rid of that Alakir in the last game. But Tides, now he moves on to the grand finals in the very beginning of the entire tournament. Tides even told me privately he wasn't sure if he was ready for this tournament preparation-wise. But hey, if that gets him into the finals, I want him to feel like that every tournament.
Absolutely right, man. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And the finals is going to be a best of 7. So each of the players, RDU and Tides, are going to be able to bring in an extra deck that we haven't seen today. So I wonder what Tides is going to bring. He broke out the Warrior today. Maybe he'll play the same. Was it a Rogue deck? I think before is what he had. He was playing with a Rogue before too, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think RDU would never go into the tournament at the moment for